Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I am Commander Cones.
That's right. And you're very fortunate today because we have a new ship to look at, which happens to be the USS Fortune.
And I'm 805% happy to see you because the NCC 805.
Well, we'll NCC about that, whether you're happy with me at the end of this episode. I don't know.
Unfortunately, Sam is satirically fortunate to be here. Don't prep these crappy things in between these jokes. But yeah, Stuart, we are looking at a comic ship. As we said before, we've done pretty much all of the ships, the big ships in Trek canon. We have a lot of fun going back and looking at other license work, from games to comics to books and such, and taking a look at ships, because we all love ships, analysing things that, for the most part, have been lost to time. And Stuart, you found another great, or potentially, hopefully great ship today.
Well, we see here from the dialogue that the ship is nearly 50 years old. When was it commissioned? We don't know because it gets cut off, and then they're ordered to get back to the ship. So it does appear like it is a Cage era ship, just from the spikes on the Bizarre Collectors, and also the low registry number. So this is definitely pre-TOS. I assume it's probably in a TOS comic, and then 50 years earlier, you can kind of do the math. This is pre-Discovery, for sure.
You know what I miss about Star Trek before Discovery and JJ? That you could know what era a ship was from just by the art design. And then those things happened, and kind of threw spanners in. You know, oh look, the Kelvin's much bigger and it's got all these things. Well, that was the wrong era. Oh look, Discovery, everything that represents. Well, that messes that era, because you're able to ascertain this has Cage era because of the points. But now is it all, you know what I mean? It really kind of puts other things into question, which is a shame. Trek was very consistent up until the point. Point. The vibe I get from the Bizarre is that they are meant to glow.
I mean, it's hard to say, but possibly it could be an iterative step between Cage and TOS.
That's why I was wondering. Yeah. But then the big ass fusion rockets at the back would go against that heavily. So let's assume, I think, that he just didn't want to make them a bland wood looking reddy brown. That this is a interim step between Phoenix and TOS Connie. Obviously, in a comic that's long before we get anything like the Phoenix from First Contact. I'm assuming TNG probably maybe exists at the time this comic was made. So this could be a look at what they were thinking in between. Although I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Starfleet Spaceflight Chronology probably exists at this point. The book that people looked at had to help design this.
I mean, yeah, that's been around for a long time, so absolutely.
It's my guess based on this design. So what do you think, Stuart? You're a TOS fan to the boy.
I think it's nice. It actually ties in a lot with some of the ships we've even seen in Enterprise as far as that forward hull design goes. The thing that does confuse me is the large rockets at the back. They seem like a chemical kind of propulsion system with super great, awesome looking nacelles as well, so warp capable. Could be older nacelles just because of the chunkiness of them, especially at the rear. It's an odd design choice, but it does kind of have that Phoenix vibe to it with the way they stick out the side of the hull there. So there's not a lot of windows, and so it appears very like very small ship for sure.
And just for a sense of where it fits in the, obviously it's not canon, it's licensed, but it's not canon. So if you take the NCC's USS as literal, then the Kelvin was 0514. So this is several years made after Kelvin. No, I like how small this is as a ship. Honestly, I like how neat it feels. You know, when I watched TOS, it felt like it's a heavy cruiser. It's a bigger ship of the fleet. It's of the higher echelons of, this is a punchy ship. So I'd assume most ships are smaller, more reserved. They take less time to build and can do quicker, smaller missions. I'm kind of annoyed there's a lack of line of sight here. It would have been nice to have that, because especially in TOS, this ship cannot work. It just flat out just can't exist. I really like the arrangement, actually. I think this works. This works on a level that most comic ships don't, because it's not a kit bash, it's actually a design, and it has levels and it has flourishes. I think it actually works really rather well.
No, I totally agree. I do like the kind of spine feel, like the beginning at the top there. Not necessarily required, but very neat looking. And yeah, it does seem like a very small kind of scout ship, I would guess.
I'd say even light cruiser. Just like a really light cruiser.
Yeah, that being said, I don't see any phaser bolt turrets, but again, it's just a comic drawing.
It's also TOS, so no phaseable turrets anyway. We're pre that.
Unless you believe Starfleet battles.
But we don't. Certainly they don't.
I do. I mean, it could also be we talked about this with a few of the Enterprise designs as well. They seem more like either transports or ferries of sorts as well. The part that really confuses me, though, is that back end. If those are supposed to be impulse drives, they're very primitive impulse drives, but they do look like chemical rockets of sorts. So it's really a tough call on that.
But it is NCC 805, so it's well past NX era. So it is, you know, you can't, they're not going to commission an 805 50 years after NX, are they? You know what I mean? It doesn't really make sense. It's still roughly a thing. Well, what's nice about this ship, I think, is that it's accidentally retcons itself back in quite well. Like you say, the half saucer is a half saucer from Enterprise, which was a existent design, and the back four engines look like Conestoga, which we know was an NX era thing. There are chemical engines, or at least vaguely similar things on one of those early things. Now, I'm wondering maybe they want to do 4 impulse drives that are separate to kind of give a redundancy factor.
Now, there is another view of the ship from the bottom, which doesn't really reveal too much more than the top. It's pretty much the exact same design, but it's worth looking at anyway.
It looks good, though. It actually looks kind of good. Because of how different and yet similar the saucer is, it fits with it just looks like a rocket with nacelles stuck on. But it kind of all works together.
Yeah, well, it could be that the main body of it was an older style ship design, but they incorporated the new warp nacelles, maybe even attached that front saucer section at some point as an upgrade. There's a lot of possibilities there. I just wish that we had a little more details about it. I don't see any shuttle bays of any sort, but again, there's a possibility there might be some at the rear between those engines. Who knows? But it does seem like quite a small ship based on the size of the windows. As we know, looking at windows is important. So
now, if you do want to go by the memory beta account, there is some information. If you want to get spoiled, it's released in 2190s. Number 1 said bore this fortune before assignment to the USS Ventura. In the 2080, Foley's fortune was a distress call from the human colony, Tau Alpha 3. This was from the crew at the bottle, and a crew of 56, which definitely goes towards our smaller size. But 2190s is an interesting perspective because NX-01 was launched in 2161, so it's only 30 years after, which would certainly, fit in that we have it wouldn't fit the nacelles at all, but it would fit the idea of we're still using old style, we haven't quite shrugged these old designs of the past in terms of the engines.
Yeah, and that's interesting because, this comic was actually, it's from a comic called The Bottle, which is a TOS comic. It was published in April 1st, 2009. So there would be Enterprise history and stuff there as well. So, yeah, which is quite shocking, actually.
Especially with the quality of the comic, it looks retro and underwhelming.
Yeah, that kind of throws a spanner in the works, doesn't it? Again, it's a comic. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, you're nitpicking. You're getting too."
No, we're not, because it said number 1 served on it, which implies that's why the nacelles are updated, because it exists in that era. So this isn't the launch variant. Obviously, it can't be. That would be silly. So I'm sure it got recommissioned, like refitted, recommissioned. That's why it's got the older style back, newer style engines. It's got cage style because it was cage era at the way it got refitted. And that's why the paint scheme also fits NX TOS rather than pre. So it's a kind of a hodgepodge of refitting a slightly older design.
And awesomely enough, we also have the command insignia for the Fortune, which, like the TOS, style that we're familiar with. Each ship has its own unique division patch. So we got that as well. Very simplistic, obviously, but quite cool actually. I don't know. I think it's a cool design. I really do. I don't buy the era it was built in that case, or the year.
Yeah, I think it's a ship that is better than some of its parts, although still suffers from a lack of complete thought. Yeah, the only really thing is the back. If the back was different, if the back had maybe like at the top of the back had 2 impulse drives like the 2S Connie, below that a shuttle bay, then the whole thing would be like, oh, that's how a cool. Yeah, line of sight doesn't work. Would you rather the nacelles went down or up? That'd be better.
Maybe if they went up would be cool. Down, I don't think would work for this design, personally.
Well, actually, now I'm looking at it. Even if you were to change just the nacelles, give it 4 nacelles. Because that would fit the 4 impulse engines.
Yeah. Doing 4 nacelles, though, I definitely get rid of that back part and redesign that altogether. Again, this ship is ripe for redesigning, I think, and making something that would actually fit between Enterprise and TOS, because it's got a lot of the Enterprise aesthetics with the half saucer kind of design, and then moving up to TOS, it's got the same skin and same kind of vibe to it. So, you know, some redesign, this could be good.
I do love the neck, though. The neck, I think that's what really brings it up for me. That choice, that aesthetic choice. Although you also wonder, why is there no bridge?
It's there. It's in the middle of the saucer section, maybe. Who knows? They don't always have to be on top, in my opinion. Like this just ignores all the 4 rules of ship design that we've talked about with Andrew Probert. Maybe they just didn't know. So,
I mean, bridges should always be visible, if not at the top, like you know where they are.
Yeah, even the front of that spine where it goes down, if there was like windows there or something to indicate some kind of bridge. Not that we want windows on the bridge, because it should be a view screen.
Yeah, but and again, well done for the bottom view as well. It actually looks pretty decent.
Or use it as inspiration for a design of your own. Like that's why we like doing this show. We've inspired a lot of people to get back into starship design, or just start starship design or 3D modeling, and we really love hearing that. So if we can just inspire somebody to create something that's unique in their own, we love that. So let us know if you do, for sure. But I guess that's it for this fortunate look at the Fortune. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Unfortunately, it's time for us to leave, but you know, if you want to see stuff like this again, because we always create great content, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. Also, like the video if you like the video, and share it around. And don't forget to click the notification icon so you get notified every time we upload, because we do like looking at ships. That's kind of what we do here. But we also do episode reviews and things like that. We do a lot of weekly lives where you can join, be part of the community, have your voice heard. Super chats are a great way to help out the channel and support us. And if you want to join us for our lives every week, hit the notification icon so you get notified, hopefully by YouTube, that we're going live, and you can join us and experience more Trekyards goodness.
Or of course, support Patreon if you can. It's a monthly service, super useful. Or one-time donation at trekyards.com, or buy merch down in the comments below of each, or the description below of all these videos. Take a look. You can also get Eagle Moss, amazing ships, using the code Trekyards. The more you buy, the more money you save. It's really awesome. And as Stuart said, just join us for the next episode. We do lots. We do them often. Come join in, have fun, and see you then.
That's right. So until then, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I got it, guys. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.